We are talking this morning with Dr. Phil McGraw. You know him for his expert advice on his weekday television show here on KDKA TV. We plan on talking with him today about two special segments coming up on his program today and tomorrow at 3. But after the events in Squirrel Hill on Saturday, we wanted to start our conversation with that. Dr. Phil joins us now live from New York City. Good morning, Dr. Phil.
Good morning, Heather, and let me begin by saying I am just absolutely heartbroken at what has happened in Pittsburgh. Robin and I just send our love and prayers to everyone in Pittsburgh and to the families that were impacted by this terrible, terrible tragedy.
Well, let me speak for our viewers and say thank you for those sentiments. Our mayor here in Pittsburgh said that we should not try to rationalize irrational behavior, but so many people are wondering why. What causes someone to act with such hate?
Well, you know, Heather, sometimes, people say, who does that kind of thing? But when they say that to me, it's not a rhetorical question. They really are asking the question, who does that kind of thing? What kind of personality, what kind of mentality leads to that sort of thing? And clearly this was a hate crime. And, when I finished my training, I did a year's postdoctoral fellowship in forensic psychology, which deals a lot with profiling, and I've worked with law enforcement over the years, and there is a certain type. Now, here's the real frustration for us in the field of psychology. We can profile these people after the fact, but we cannot predict who's going to do this before it happens. What we know after the fact is that there are commonalities. This kind of person obviously is a very self-righteous, sanctimonious individual, and they have a tremendous sense of entitlement. They believe that they are entitled to one way of life, that they are right fighters, that they're correct. They believe that there's one way to do things and it's their way, and that anyone that encroaches on that, anyone that challenges that, anyone that takes away from that is so wrong, and sometimes they claim the outrageous right to step in and try to suppress those people. And here's the problem. People turn to violence when they run out of socially acceptable ways to express themselves. So oftentimes these are not the brightest people in the world, because they run out of words, they run out of ways to express themselves, so they turn to violence. And when you're dealing with that kind of a person, and it's not always that kind of person, when you're dealing with that kind of person, your mayor is exactly right. You simply cannot make sense out of nonsense. What makes sense to them at the time, to any rational person that would sit down and look at alternatives, this would be not even on a long list, let alone at the top of a short list. This kind of person lacks empathy. They could care less about the fallout to other people, to family members that are surviving, to the dreams that are crushed among the people whose lives they take. And they're what we call short-term time framers. They don't think about the impact on themselves or those that they hurt.
Well, so Dr. Phil, what if someone notices someone who's having some of those behaviors? What can you do, should you do, or is there anything that you can do to stop something before it happens?
Well, Heather, here's what we know. We know that in somewhere in the mid-70% range, these people have what are called leakage. They tell at least one person what they're going to do. It's called leakage. Somehow or another, they let at least one person know what they're going to do. And sometimes more than one person. Maybe it's on Facebook, maybe it's a family member, maybe it's that they just start showing off with weapons, explosive guns, and that's coupled with really extreme statements. But I promise you, when this hate crime that this person is alleged to have committed is deconstructed, you're going to find that someone along the way was given a pretty clear signal of what was going to happen here. And what does that translate in for us? It translates for us into that we need to become not a big brother society that informs on our neighbors, but an attentive society that pays attention to those that are falling out of the mainstream and going to radical measures to try and bring about social change. So if you hear somebody, people that talk about this do it. You know, we often hear it's like people that talk about suicide don't do it. That's a myth. And people that talk about violence, they do violence. So when you hear that, they need to get on somebody's radar. And, you know, you've heard of every single situation, every school shooting, every mass killing. Somebody has been warned ahead of time but failed to act.
Thank you, Dr. Phil, for your insight into this. We really appreciate it. I know a lot of our viewers here on Pittsburgh Today Live also tune in for your 3 o'clock show, so I'm glad that we were able to get some insight from you. I also wanted to talk to you about what's on today and tomorrow. You have a very powerful show about a biological father who sold his children at a young age.
Well, you know, Heather, in the light of what has happened, I wouldn't even talk about it if it wasn't also impacting lives, because what we're talking about is a story of really human trafficking, because we're dealing with a couple. We have a biological father and 3 children here that are talking about adoption scams where this man and his wife had 10 children that they had and then marketed. They actually sold these children. And 3 of the adult children are there to confront him. The mother was actually prosecuted by the FBI. The father, who they believe is the mastermind, was never held to account. And the reason we're doing this story, it's a 2-parter today and tomorrow, is because I want to alert people around the country that human trafficking does happen in the United States, and with the advent of the internet, it's becoming more and more prolific. I do not want to scare people away from adoption, because it is a wonderful and courageous thing to do, but you need to be transparent. You need to know what's going on. And 135,000 kids are adopted in America every year, and I hope that number goes up, because 437,000 are in foster care needing adoption. But just be careful, and you're going to hear these children confront this father who they believe was the mastermind of putting them into the flesh trade and selling them on the open market. And that's what you're going to see today and tomorrow on Dr. Phil.
Well, thank you so much again, Dr. Phil, for your insight and for answering some of our questions. We really appreciate it, and we look forward to the episodes today and tomorrow.
You're all in our prayers.
Thank you. And you can watch for Dr. Phil weekdays at 3 right here on KDKA TV. We'll be right back.